What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back for another Game of Thrones Season 7 prediction video. A few days ago I made my breakdown video for the second trailer, and during that breakdown I told you that I would be making a separate video on Bran Stark scenes, so that's what I want to do for you today. The last time we saw Bran and Meera was in the Season 6 finale, when Benjen dropped them off at the weirwood tree that's not too far from Castle Black. Benjen told Bran that he couldn't take them through the wall because of the magic woven into its foundation. And I always thought it was interesting Benjen told Bran this because we know the Night King and the others cannot pass through the wall because of that magic, but as we all know, Bran Stark was marked by the Night King, which then allowed the Night King to enter the Three-Eyed Raven's cave. And since the Children of the Forest helped Bran the Builder with the wall, you have to wonder if it has the same magic that the cave once had. Because if it is the same magic, then it's very possible that the mark on Bran's arm may affect it at the wall as well. If that's the case, then that means when Bran crosses through the wall, then it may allow the Night King and his army to now have access also. This will be something we're going to have to keep our eye on throughout the season. And there is also a chance that the mark on Bran's arm may never be mentioned again. But when Season 7 begins, we may see Bran and Meera still at the weirwood tree outside of the wall. Bran may download some more information before he heads south, but they will get to the wall at Castle Black fairly early in the season, because we know this season will be short, and from the trailer we did learn that Bran does make it back to Winterfell as well. When Bran and Meera get to Castle Black, they will most likely be greeted by Lord Commander Ed, who is one of Jon's closest friends at the wall. Ed will probably bring Bran up to speed on everything that has happened with Jon, but Bran may already know everything by the time we see him again. Depending how long Bran has been at the weirwood tree where Benjen dropped him off, he may have already had flashbacks of Jon's death and the Battle of the Bastards and everything else. It's hard to say how much more Bran will have learned by the time we see him again, but it will be interesting to see what Bran will tell the Night's Watch. In my opinion, I think Bran should warn them about the mark on his arm. He should let them know that there is a possibility that the Night King may still be tracking him down, and that the mark can potentially allow the Night King and his army access through the wall. Now we know that the Night's Watch will not stand a chance against the Night King, but they should at least be warned that the magic in the wall may no longer work once they let Bran come south. But after a short time at the wall, Bran and Meera will eventually head home. And once Meera drops Bran off at Winterfell, she will probably go back to her home as well. But I'm hoping when Meera goes home, she can get into contact with her father so that he can come into play at some point. By the time Bran arrives at Winterfell, Jon will most likely have already left for Dragonstone, but we will at least get a small Stark reunion with Bran and Sansa at first. At least until Arya can make it back home. But there was another quick scene in the trailer that shows Bran out in the Godswood at the weirwood tree, and there is a maester standing next to him. I do believe this is the Bolton's former maester. He was on set the same day Bran, Arya, and Sansa were on set too. They will most likely all be at Winterfell at the same time near the end of the season. Bran is going to be spending a lot of time out here at the weirwood tree. In fact, there is another scene in the trailer that shows Bran at this weirwood tree, but it's very easy to miss. At the beginning of the trailer, it starts with the scene of Sansa walking away from the Godswood. And as Sansa is walking away, if you look right over her shoulder, you can see a glimpse of a figure right under the tree. In my opinion, it looks like Bran sitting down in the wheelchair. And I think Bran and Sansa will have a discussion out here about Littlefinger. Bran is going to expose him to Sansa, and this is when she's going to decide that he needs to be killed, which causes her to walk away like this, knowing that her mind is made up. Littlefinger must die. As Sansa walks away from the Godswood, we can also hear a quote from Littlefinger at the same time, and this may be what Littlefinger says to Sansa as his last words. They've gave us so many teases with Littlefinger in all the promos, and they have shown him in nearly every single one, either down in the crypts or with Sansa. As great of a character Littlefinger is, this will be his last season. Once Bran gets home, he will no longer be able to play his manipulating game. Bran will eventually learn of everything, and he will bring Sansa out here to tell her. This will be a pretty big revelation next season, but it won't be the only one. When we see Bran out here with the Maester, you can see that he is either having a flashback or he is warging. They also show us a dozen of crows flying over thousands of whites. In the way they edited this, it appears that Bran is warging the birds at this moment. But if you know how they edit these trailers, they do it this way to throw us off. When they show the crows flying over the whites, they also cut to a quick scene of the Night King looking up into the sky. I think they want us to think he is looking up at the birds, but this could be two completely different scenes, which it most likely is. but let's take a closer look at some things and see what else could possibly be going on here. Now we know that Jon Snow and a group of companions are going to go north of the wall, and we also know that they are going to come into contact with the Night King's army. We can see Jon and his men get attacked by a shitload of wights here on this cliff. And we also see Jon fight a White Walker. In one of the last scenes, it shows Jon standing here alone, with several wights standing in front of him, back there near the fire. But if you look closely at the wights in front of Jon, there really aren't too many standing there at this point. And considering there are some big fires back there, most of the wights that were here in this attack are probably killed. So when we see the crows flying over this big army of wights in the trailer, I think this is going to be a different scene. If you pause the video and look at all the wights, you can see that this is most likely the entire army of wights. You can see them as far as the eye can see. And they don't seem to be running or scrambling in this scene either. And I'm not sure if I've ever mentioned this before, but I was actually in the army for 4 years. And anyone that's been in the military knows that you spend a hell of a lot of time standing in formation and marching in formation. And when I look closely at all these wights here, it looks like they are marching. They are not running. None of their legs are bent at the knee, nor do they look to be leaning forward at all. In my opinion, I think this is the army of wights marching to the wall. At the end of the season, I think we will see the Night King round up his entire army and finally make his move to come south. Also, when they show the Night King look up into the sky here, I think this could be the Night King looking up at the wall. And when the scene cuts back to Bran, we see Bran snap back out of his vision. I think this could be Bran realizing like, oh fuck, the Night King and his massive army of wights are at the fucking wall and it's showtime. Bran is going to warg into his birds and witness them mounting up to strike the wall in the Night's Watch. We know that the Night King took some kind of interest in Jon Snow when he saw Jon Snow kill one of his White Walkers. When Jon Snow gets north again and he comes into contact with the Night King again, this is going to heighten everything. But Jon will be able to escape the Night King's grasp once again. But this time it's going to piss the Night King off, especially if Jon and his team are able to escape with something that belongs to the Night King. He already marked Bran, and we know he has a massive interest in Bran too. So after Jon Snow returns from this mission, the Night King will have nothing left to do up north but to come south, and Bran knows this. Bran is going to warg into the birds to go spy on the Night King and see what the hell he's up to. But to Bran's surprise, he's going to realize the Night King and his army are making their move south. And when we see the Night King look up into the sky here, this might be the last scene of the season. This might be him looking at the wall falling down. How crazy would that be? Now I know they want us to think he's looking up at something flying in the sky, but it could also be something else. But what do you all think? Comment down below and let me know. Am I crazy for thinking this, or does it make some sense? Thanks for stopping by and checking out this video. I really appreciate the support from all of you. I love you all, and I'll see you down below. Bye.